committed to stepping up to 2.5% in the UK. So is that not a move in the right direction?
2.5% is nothing. 2.5% is nothing. And look at your combat capabilities. You guys are going, look, you're doing more than anybody else, but you're so far away from doing it. If you actually want to do this, we're at 3.5% of GDP. If you wanted to make up for all the years you didn't invest and what's happened to the Royal Navy and what's happened to your Army, which are the two greatest in the world, you have so much investment you have today, and you can't afford it. You're not going to be able to have your public health system. You're not going to be able to have your retirement plans, your pensions. You understand these are all trade-offs and hard trade-offs. You're in financial distress right now. It's arguable that the IMF could be stepping in to Great Britain in the next couple of years. Your bond market already turfed out Liz Truss. You think you're out of that right now? You haven't looked at what's happening to the British economy. And you have to put that in context of stepping up for a massive defense increase.
OK, I know you don't have much time, so I want to get through as much as we can. I want to ask you about J.D. Vance's comments last night, talking about 20,000 troops from some random country. I think you've made clear your views on British defence capabilities, but, you know, what countries do you think you're talking about there?
Nobody's questioned the French in the British capabilities and the valor of their troops and the courage and the great. But if you look at NATO outside of the United Kingdom,
specifically on J.D. Vance, what countries do you think he was talking about there?
I think J.D. Vance has gone out of his way to be gracious. I think he's a very gracious man. I think he's done a great job as vice president. The reality is,
about the UK and France.
The reality is that NATO, of which we're an allied partner. Remember, I was the lead dog in trying to get NATO up to 2% in the first term, of which they refused to do, only the UK and Poland. If you look at an entire NATO, I'm not sure you can put up 2 combat divisions to actually take on the Russians. The whole of NATO has faked this for decades and decades and decades. Even your own self-imposed 2%, very few people make. And when the British do more, it's like it's tremendous. But quite frankly, the EU can't really afford this. If you want to have everything else, given how leveraged you are, given the sovereign debt crises, I don't know, that Italy and France and Germany and Spain and Portugal and Greece and maybe the United Kingdom may all face, you're not facing economic reality. And right now, what President Trump is trying to say, if we put the guns down and we can get to peace, then we can start hammering swords into plowshares. And part of that is a rapprochement with the Russians, which I think he's doing a magnificent job of. And once you do that, you break them off from the Chinese Communist Party, a Chinese Communist Party that much of the British establishment is in business with.
OK.